Hey, everybody. Apologies to Billy Joel out there. Welcome to studentloanjustice.org. We are Student Loan Justice. We are the oldest, largest, first, only, and absolutely only, that didn't sound right, group fighting absolutely and only and exclusively for student loan borrowers. We do not do deals with bad guys, ladies and gentlemen. We don't care about any of that crap. We don't have little secret handshakes. We don't sell our members out. We're fighting only and absolutely for student loan borrowers, and that's the way it's always been, the way it will always be. So we've been around for 18 years. We're glad that you found us. Tell everyone you know about this group, if you would, please. We're going to need them if you haven't been able to tell. So a couple of announcements. We are back from Los Angeles. We just got back last night, back to the frozen north woods of Wisconsin, and had a great trip, by the way. Great thanks to Lisa Ansel in Beverly Hills, believe it or not. She hosted she and the Jewish Free Loan Association hosted us there to screen our film, Lone Wolves, which is on the Peacock Network right now. A great reception for a sort of cold, dismal night in Los Angeles, and rainy too. Well, it's been raining in Los Angeles lately, if you didn't know. Surprisingly good turnout. I think around maybe 100 people or something showed up. Very beautiful thing there at the Skirball Center, which I now know the name of. But thanks to everybody. By the way, thanks to Patrick, thanks to Paula, thanks to Joel, and everybody else who showed up. And hell, it was a very good talk. The audience was remarkably friendly, which I was frankly a little bit disappointed in. I was hoping that I'd get a few curmudgeons in the audience. It's kind of a wealthy, elitist type crowd there at the Skirball Center. It's like super duper nice. But unfortunately, everybody was just extremely very nice, very engaging. And a few of them had some pretty interesting ideas about other ways, things that we can do to fight this nonsense. So again, thank you. It was a great trip. Maybe the most important thing that I have for you tonight is, as you know, the Supreme Court is making its decision about the student loan cancellation. And so, you know, student loan cancellation by executive order started on this group. I kid you not. Despite our poor piano playing and austere environs, this group is way more important than you might think, ladies and gentlemen. It was this group where the concept of canceling student loans by executive order, which is a very sexy concept, by the way, had its origin. It was our petition that we started way before anybody was talking about student loan cancellation by executive order that got that whole ball rolling. So you'd think we'd be thrilled with Biden's loan cancellation. You think we'd be just up in arms about these Supreme Court cases and so forth. We're actually not, guys. The cancellation was lame in the first place, and it was based on inappropriate law, I think. And I can talk about that later, but suffice it to say, we were not too enamored with this cancellation in the first place. And these court challenges are just stupid and dumb. And even if, whichever way this case goes, guys, we're kind of screwed. This whole Supreme Court, all the brouhaha, all the controversy, that's all swamp manufactured. Like they have put bubble wrap around this issue. So whichever way these cases go, we're fine, guys. We're not, doesn't really make a huge difference to us what they do, what they don't do in Washington, D.C. Now, if this cancellation would have been based on the Higher Education Act, okay, then it would be certainly a very keen point of interest and concern for us. But anyways, that is not what is being tested in the Supreme Court. What's being tested is whether the HEROES Act of 2003 is appropriate law for this cancellation. That's really the only thing. So there is also, and I'll talk, and maybe this is kind of what I wanted to talk about tonight. There's something called a major questions doctrine, which I'll come back to in a minute and just talk you through it a little bit if you're interested. But yeah, guys, this all comes down to bankruptcy. It just does. If you're new to the group, by the way, welcome. We're glad that you found us. I hope that you'll tell everybody you know about this group, because we need them, and we're the only group actually fighting this battle as it needs to be fought. Whether you would ever or never file for bankruptcy is not important. What is of penultimate, keen, supreme importance is having the leverage of bankruptcy returned to us, student loan borrowers, as it is in place for all other borrowers in this country. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy, including me, including you. That's not the point. The point is we've got to get the leverage of bankruptcy returned to us in order for this lending system in order for anything good to happen. We can be begging Biden or any other president until the cows come home to do a student loan cancellation by executive order. Again, very sexy concept that started on this group. Pat on the back. And what we'll get is what we've already seen. This nonsense up to $10,000 or $20,000 Pell Grant. And at the end of the day, it's just nonsense. I mean, many, if not most of the people on this group are like, $10,000. Give me a fucking break. Many people on our group, $10,000 is interest in a year on their loans. I kid you not. I've heard many people say, you just add 10,000 onto my balance. I just don't care. And make no mistake, even if the borrowers prevail in this court case, the Department of Education will find a way, and its contractors will find a way to make up that 10 grand very quickly. And they've got all the skills and the tools, the administrative power to figure out a way to make that happen. So yeah, guys, we're not buying into the false swamp generated media surrounding this cancellation question that's currently before the Supreme Court. So yeah, the thing to LA went well. Oh, I should probably also add, if you can donate right now, guys, we'd very, very important that we get some donations in. We can survive and thrive on very little actual money, but we can't do it on nothing, dudes. And like, as of this morning, I think we needed to raise $360 by the end of the week. I think we actually it's my birthday, by the way. And thankfully, I think we actually raised something like, I think nearly half of that today. So that's good. So I think we still need around roughly 9 people to donate $20 or more, if you would, please. And you can just go there. Please just donate if you appreciate all the work that we're doing, guys. I suck at fundraising. I've just never been good at it. And it's been a rough year so far starting out. It's been a very rough year. So I'm looking for your comments and questions right now and your editorial opinions on our Facebook group, on our Twitter page. Oh, this is what I really wanted to mention, guys. I'm sorry. Huge ups to Jackie Abron and Lisa Ansell again. Lisa and Jackie are just on fucking fire right now. So I told you about the thing that Lisa hosted us for in Los Angeles, which was just absolutely fantastic. Both Lisa and Jackie got letters to the editor published in their local newspapers. So Lisa in the Los Angeles Times, Jackie got I think 3 or 4 at this point published all across Texas, like the Augusta Chronicle and the Waco Journal or something like that. And like 2 other places, I believe, all calling for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans. And also for cancellation as well. It's kind of a big difference between those 2 issues. I don't know why. To me, it's kind of 2 sides of the same coin, but yeah, this is what everybody needs to do, guys. We're not going to win this battle unless you help. I'm not kidding you guys. We've been doing this for 18 fucking years now. And I can tell you, we are not going to win this battle unless and until you sitting there help. We're not here for your entertainment, guys. Jackie and Lisa and everybody else on our live stream, I suspect, will tell you, we cannot pull your weight for you. We cannot do it. You've got to pull your own weight in this group. This is truly grassroots. This is a working, fighting group. And if you're not here working and fighting, getting your knuckles a little muddy, maybe a little bloody, you're not pulling your weight. You're just not. This is your problem. These are your loans, and you just can't expect anybody else on this group to do your work for you. That's always been true, always will be true. So, and we're not going to blow smoke up your ass. And no, we don't do any of that stuff, guys. We're very honest group. We're very fiercely nonpartisan group also, by the way. We pretty much hate both parties at this point in different ways. But good on Jackie and Lisa for getting multiple letters to the editor of their local papers published. Please, will you not get a letter to the editor in your local paper published like next week? And if you're looking for ideas like what to write about, basically call for either cancellation or bankruptcy or both. And depending on what state you're in, you can overwhelm them with just stunning statistics on the amount of student loan debt that's in your state. If you live in the South, particularly states like Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Missouri, Tennessee, Kentucky, the entire South, and pretty much the whole country in general, there's a very good chance that student loan debt in your state actually exceeds the entire state budget of your state. And that is worth putting in a letter to the editor of your local paper, because nobody knows that. And particularly like governors and attorneys general, like that asshole in Missouri who launched a lawsuit trying to stop the student loan cancellation that Biden did. Those people don't even know that. And the people of those states don't even know that. Like in Missouri, people of Missouri owe the state budget of Missouri is $25 billion. The people of Missouri owe $35 billion in mostly federal student loan debt. So as I said, we're a firstly nonpartisan group, but we are very partisan aware. And I'm just going to say that it's the Republicans that are fighting all of these lawsuits, including the two that are currently in the Supreme Court. And that makes no sense. Why is a Republican going to be fighting for the worst big government federal loan scam in U.S. history, and one that is wrecking their states like Georgia? Oh my goodness. I could go on and on, but the state budget of Georgia is like $48 billion. The people of Georgia owe $81 billion. That's like 169% of their state budget in mostly federal student loans. And the borrowers are not a bunch of liberals. They're just not. You know, over half of people who have been to college, which includes all student loan borrowers, obviously, over 50% of them identify politically as being either Republicans or independents. So there's no good reason for Republicans to be fighting against us on this. And that's the biggest job that we have this year to solve. We've got to hit the Republicans, guys. We're hitting all of Congress. And I truly hope that you can get us, me, and maybe a few others into a phone conference with both of your senators and your House representative sometime between now and, say, I don't know, June, July. We would like very much to get in on a phone conference with all 535 members of Congress, all 100 senators, 435 members of the House of Representatives. We're very good at talking about this issue. We're not good at almost anything else. We don't know much about healthcare or immigration or any other issues. Well, we do, but we don't really talk about other issues. But we have sharpened our sword to a razor's edge on the student loan problem. We can answer all of the questions, the toughest questions. We love the tough questions. Like, why should the tax dollars pay for your college? What about the people who already paid their loans? And what are the people who didn't go to college? And what about them? How's that fair? We love those questions. We can answer them like that. So, but it does us no good to be sitting on the sidelines preaching to the choir. We've got to go into the lion's den, guys. We've got to mix it up with these people. That's where the problem gets solved. So if you forget everything I say tonight, remember at least this. Make it your mission to get us, me, My name is Alan Collins. My email is alan, ALAN, at studentloanjustice.org. Phone number 202-594-1120. Get us into a phone conference with ideally the judiciary staffers who work for both of your senators. And we love Republicans even more than Democrats right now. I mean, that's the important place where we'd rather be. But all of them, both of your senators and your House representative, they're judiciary staffers. Call them. Get a phone conference happening. That's like the least that you can do. So, okay, guys, I'm looking for your comments right now. Sorry to be lagging on this, by the way. But I hope you guys are stoked. And just not to beat a dead horse, but I do want to talk a tiny bit about the Supreme Court case, just because this is the same sort of opposition that will be brought against a student loan cancellation by the Higher Education Act, which is what Biden should have done. He shouldn't have used this HEROES Act. Should have used the Higher Education Act. But there's something that people like to call the major questions doctrinaire, or something like that. This is something that originated, I think, with Justice Scalia. And the idea, and the common turn of phrase to describe this, is that Congress does not hide elephants in mouse holes. So, for example, well, you get the descriptive language, right? It's like, look, there's no way Congress intended, like, for one little tiny piece of law to be used to do major, big, super duper expensive things. And so there's no real basis in the Constitution for it, but it seems to carry some credibility in some legal circles. I don't understand it. But the idea is that for super big things, Congress must be notified when there's huge amounts of money involved. And, you know, with the Higher Education Act, Congress, they didn't hide, I agree, they did not hide an elephant in a mouse hole in 1965, when Congress gave the Secretary of Education full, broad, unambiguous, very broad, wide authority to waive, compromise, release, and like 5 other verbs. Negotiate, I think. Waive, compromise, release, sue, be sued for, and stuff, like do all kinds of things with their federal student loan portfolio, including cancel them. Congress was very unambiguous when they gave the Secretary of Education this full, broad, sweeping authority. Now, in 1965, student loan debt practically didn't exist. I would bet that the federal portfolio was probably less than about $10 or $15 million, where today it's getting on close to $2 trillion. But this was a pretty small thing back in 1965. It was a mouse. And so, yeah, Congress didn't try and paper over an elephant in this mouse hole. What happened was, it was a mouse in a mouse hole, which is fine, that grew into elephantine proportions. So, yeah, no, that's not even applicable. It's nobody's. It's the fact that the student loan program was so corrupted and so misused and so just incredibly bastardized to become a weaponized, and that's a Republican descriptive term these days. The fact that these loans were weaponized against the citizens, yeah, I agree. I don't think Congress could have ever foreseen that. And they certainly didn't intend for this loan program to grow to elephant-sized proportions. So you can look at this power that they very decidedly gave the Secretary of Education in 1965 as basically a safety button or something. This guy, Luke Herring, Yale scholar, very smart guy, very good guy, who has who has looked at this, and he would say, and others have said, this was really kind of a nuclear button that Congress very decidedly put into the Higher Education Act to make sure that the lending system didn't grow to be out of control. Now, I seriously doubt there's even any living, breathing members of Congress who are alive today who were intimately involved with this, because really this legislation goes back to the late 50s. But certainly you can imagine that Congress, those people are turning over in their graves or something. They're looking down from on high and they're probably shaking their head saying, how did our citizens, how did our Congress let this thing blow up to such elephantine proportions? This was never our intent. And I think they would be the first to say, yes, cancel all of these loans, not some of these, cancel all of these loans, cancel this entire lending system. It's been ruined. This is not what we had in mind. So our opposition can take their stupid little elephant mouse hole argument and they can shove it straight up their ass. We don't have to put up with this shit, ladies and gentlemen. We're a stronger people than this. We're a better country than this. And in my humble opinion, this lending system is so far gone, nobody should ever pay another dime on their federal student loans, certainly. I said many years ago, I would never pay another dime until, at the very minimum, we got our constitutional bankruptcy rights restored. And I'm sticking to that 1,000%. In fact, I'm even going further now because the lending system is so catastrophically failed. I don't think anybody should ever pay another, whether they're in default, not default, whatever their situation is. I think it's not only unwise, I think it's unpatriotic to feed another dollar of your hard-earned money into this big government beast. Doesn't do you any good. Doesn't do the 43 million other borrowers any good. 38 million of whom are losing sleep, were losing sleep and are losing sleep. But even before the pandemic, they were losing sleep over these loans. Doesn't and you know, even the bigger picture is it doesn't do the country any good. Largely, it doesn't do the hundreds of millions of people who are going to follow in our footsteps, maybe haven't quite even been born yet or something. It doesn't do them any good. And maybe the most important thing I'll say tonight, the most important policy or philosophical point is that, you know, if they can weaponize other loans like they did student loans by uniquely, or not uniquely, but by stripping constitutional bankruptcy rights away, they will. They would love to. You know, the medical, big pharma, the big medical establishments, they would love to see bankruptcy similarly restricted, which means for all intents and purposes, taken away from the citizens. They would love to see bankruptcy rights taken away from credit cards, from home loans, auto loans, business loans, small business loans, you name it. And this student loan thing is the canary in the coal mine. It is the camel's nose under the tent. So this is a very important battle that we're engaged in, guys, and we can't let the bad guys win for just a plethora of very important reasons. So I hope you understand that. Okay, I am now looking for your comments. Sorry to be lagging. I hope you guys are stoked. I hope you guys are thrilled with all that's been happening lately. And you know, what do I think the chances are of the Supreme Court, how it's going to go? I don't know. I'd say it probably, because it's a conservative court, might probably be rejected. But again, I don't really care. Who knows? The Supreme Court may surprise us. It's kind of sound like from the comments we heard, the questions we heard from Gorsuch and Kavanaugh, kind of sounds like they may not go our way, which is too bad, because if you just look at the law, even the lame, ill-fitting HEROES Act, it's very clear, very unambiguous. But the Higher Education Act is even more unambiguous. So if you're just looking at the law, the Biden side of that lawsuit should prevail. But whatever they do, don't do in Washington, D.C. doesn't matter. Because remember, guys, this lending system is done. It's toast. It's finished. Before the pandemic, 60% nearly of everybody was not paying on their loans. They'd stop paying. And that's going to go up to 80, 85% whenever they try and turn these loans back on. And that's just reality, guys. Reality is us, and we are stubborn things. We are not going anywhere. We are only getting stronger with each passing day. Hey, Jackie says, happy birthday. Thank you, Jackie. My best present today was seeing Lisa and Jackie both get those letters to the editor published in their respective local newspapers. So, and I'm not a big birthday guy. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still 35. Switch reverse, actually, switch those, but yeah. Oh yeah, Jackie. It was that's the name I was thinking of. It was the Austin Chronicle, not the Augusta Chronicle. That's Georgia. The Waco Tribune and the Waxahachie Daily Light. Waxahachie. That's like Apalachicola or like Nacogdoches. Texas has got some very strange names for little towns. Oh, and the Angry Bear blog. That's right. I forgot. Angry Bear blog. Yeah, that's our good friend, Bill Haskell. Very, very surprisingly influential economics blog that we get our stuff reposted on pretty frequently. Yeah, so good on Jackie. Good on Lisa. Really made my stupid little birthday. I forgot it was my birthday like 3 different times today. People had to remind me. That's how thrilled I am at turning 53. So I'm going to keep it short tonight, guys. In fact, it may be too late for me to even do that. We're at 28 minutes now. I usually try and shoot for 20, 25 minutes or so. So we're a little over that, but we are going to need your help going forward, guys. As I said, this is not a wallflower group. We're not here for your entertainment. This is a working, fighting group. And if you really want to be in this group, then you gotta put the pedal to the metal, and you gotta put your money where your mouth is, and you gotta do a little bit of effort, because we will be buried unless people like Jackie and Lisa and Gordon and Joanna. No, I can't start mentioning all the names of all the people who are fighting this battle with us on a daily basis. There's too many people. But for all the hundreds, thousands of people we have who are, I would consider them diehards, I'd say it's closer to the hundreds than the thousands. Guys, we've got 1.2 million people on our petition alone. We've got 1.4 million people across all of our platforms. And if even 10% of those people were doing our daily actions, for example, which are just extraordinarily important, let me dial it in for you right now. We'd have this problem solved in fucking no time. Can you imagine if in the next 2 weeks, damn near every newspaper in the country ran a letter to the editor calling for the return of bankruptcy protections to student loans, or maybe for just canceling the whole damn thing, or maybe both? Yeah, it would be something we've never seen in this country before. We are a political movement, it's true, but are we a ripple or are we a wave? We can be a fucking tsunami when we choose to do that. And that starts exactly and only and totally with you. So think about that. I don't want to be here for a 19th year. I want us to get this fucker done, pardon my French, this year. I'm done. I'm ready to move on with my life. Are you also not ready to move on with your life? So just ask yourself that question. Join us in this fight. It's not hard. It's fun, actually, to fight this fight. We've got some very smart, clever, creative people on our group, including you, I would hope. Like, we've all been to college at least, so we can't be absolute freaking morons, hopefully. Although there may be a few, but you get my point, guys. This is the most important group in existence in the student loan justice battle. And I'm not even going to talk about the other groups. It's just kind of a waste of time. These people are just politically, they're just they're jokers. They're just window dressing. This all comes down to bankruptcy, guys. Like that or not, it's not sexy, I know, but it's the most important thing. Whatever you want to see happen with your loans, whether you want cancellation, whether you want a break on interest, whether you want some other negotiated middling settlement, whatever you want with your student loans, it begins by we, the people, getting the constitutionally enshrined leverage of bankruptcy returned to us as it exists for every other type of loan in this country. So I've said it, twice or at least 3 times tonight, maybe. That's the deal, guys. Sink or swim. We're all in this together. We need you in this fight. We have a massive muscle to flex. Lisa and Jackie have started something, I hope. But you're the one that can make that true or not true with simply writing a letter to the editor calling for the return of bankruptcy to student loans, the cancellation of student loans, maybe even calling out your governor. I say make them feel your pain. Hold nothing back. And don't think that you're better than us, by the way, and that you can sit back and watch us fight your battle for you. You're not better than us. You're just not. And we're not going to do your work for you. We can't. So I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all your comments tonight, guys, but fuck, pardon my French, we're over 33 minutes now. So anyways, have a great weekend, guys. We'll be back on Sunday night. This coming week is going to be extremely important. There's still and until the Supreme Court comes back with this decision, there's going to be a heightened media spotlight on this issue. So reaching out to reporters, and you can see in the daily actions that's what we're doing. All the stuff in our daily actions become even more important for the next couple months. And in the immortal words of John Connor, Sarah Connor's son, Terminator, you have no idea how important you are. So I'll be back on Sunday. Rewind this video if anything was unclear. So good luck. See you on Sunday. Godspeed. God bless everyone.